All right, finna go ahead and get started here. Let's wait for some people to get in here. Then we'll go ahead and get it started. Appreciate everyone stopping by. If you have any questions about this, like I said, make sure to leave the comments. Whether you are rewatching this or watching this live, I would love to hear your questions that you have about fasting, in which I'll go over and hopefully answer most of them on today's episode. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get it started here in a minute. All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast. For today's episode 179, we're going to be discussing my 92-hour fast, my 4-day fast that I just had broke yesterday. Now, this is going to be something that's people are going to be like, what the hell are you doing a fast? And that was kind of my experience when I did tell people, hey, I'm doing a fast. They're like, for what? Well, why? And the question here's the thing that ultimately blew my mind because quite frankly, it's like most people do not understand the utility of a fast, and I find that very very interesting. So, just to give you some background, the reason why I did it, the first reason I did it is because it's something that I've looked into for such a long time, and I kind of wanted to do it eventually. Um, I'm not Muslim, but I know that Ramadan doesn't exist where they do like a certain fast throughout the day, and I was very much interested in that when my friend KJ went ahead and did that last year, and I've kind of always been interested in fasting because I understood that there was a lot of health benefits that could be reaped from doing such a thing, and then obviously you understand the what is it called the you must understand how our ancestors lived in the past, right? They lived at a time where, they had to go hunt, right? They had to go kill their food and you never knew when the next time they were going to eat was, right? So it kind of is like a simulation of that. And obviously that is so far from where we are within society. And obviously people get thrown off if they can't eat for if they miss a few hours of, and trust me, I was the same way. If they miss a few hours of not eating, or they miss a meal, it's like the world is ending. They're all pissed off, and they don't know, their body doesn't know how to function without not eating, or without eating rather. And yeah, and I found that very very interesting. So I kind of wanted to test myself. So that is what I went ahead and did. I understood that it potentially could be a physical and mental test, and I love to physically and mentally test myself. So that is what I went ahead and did. So yes, I did a 92-hour water only fast, and I kind of want to give you guys some more information about that. So there's going to be a lot of different fasts you can do. Originally, this was supposed to be a 72-hour water only fast, and with the water only fast, I want to mention the fact that um, I didn't just drink like regular like water like this. It was more of like it was more intentional. It was more not like it was more like how can I optimize my water to be the best type of water that I can consume, right? So if you look into it, there's going to be a few different minerals you need. You need potassium, you need magnesium, and you need what is it, sodium, just so you don't get fatigued or have like certain type of sicknesses from not eating and stuff like that. So I optimized my water with liquid IV and Himalayan or pink Himalayan salt, which had helped me pretty much get through the fast. Majority of the fast was just, or not majority of the fast, all of the fast was just drinking just that. And yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna kind of get into a few things. I want to kind of go ahead and discuss the what it does to your body specifically, so I can kind of give you guys more of an insight of why I went ahead and did that when I was looking into it. And I also want to talk about more of what got me inspired to go ahead and do it. So, like I said, I understood that this is something that is so far from society, but yet is so essential to the human body, and making sure it is up to tip top shape. And also, I understand that fasting also reverses aging as well. Not that I need to go ahead and reverse my age at all. If I wanted to do that, I would just shave my beard. But um, it also has anti-aging properties as well, which allows your body to function a little bit better. And yes, I said that function a little bit better. I feel like a lot of people have a misconception. They think that, oh, by doing something like this, their body's just going to shut down and you're just going to die after not eating for one day. And that's not the case at all. Your body your body loves No, I'm not gonna say this. That, your body can survive. And here's the thing: if you think your body can't survive, do it. You'll prove yourself wrong. You'll prove yourself wrong. Your body is resilient. You've made it this long, and your bloodline has made it this long for hopefully a reason, right? And so yeah, so another thing that came up that also inspired me to do it is Dana White was talking about doing a 84-hour fast, and this was like kind of like a crazy thing that kind of shook up some people's brains, especially within the media, because like I said, most people don't talk about a certain fast like that. He did it first, and I looked into his specific thing that he did. So he did one day. First day was just water. I don't know what type of water. He probably used hydrogen water or maybe it was spring water or something like that. But like I said, I broke down what I did. And then he did a bone broth for the next 2 days. In my opinion, right? Like I said, this is just my first fast. I don't consider that a real fast, as close to what I did, right? Because a fast is supposed to be minimal to none of like any calories at all. So bone broth is gonna have, obviously, I would for most people, if you're like over the age of like 40 or 45, you go ahead and do the bone broth, I guess. But I'm not gonna say it's actually necessary for anybody that's within the ages down from that. If I'm gonna be honest with you, so I considered doing bone broth because it could have gave me something, but I was like, I really don't need it. So I did 48 hour or I did 24 hours just water, and then I kind of came to the conclusion that what, I could just probably rock this shit out. Um, and yes, I want to kind of go over like kind of like my hunger and things like that. So yes, I was hungry, of course, but it's a matter of understanding that that does not matter, and you can do other things that can potentially distract you from indulging within that hunger. Obviously, you get hungry, and then all you can think about is food. But when you get hungry and you can't eat, you do think about food. But at the same time, it's like, okay, there's more to life than just food, isn't there? So go ahead and like, you distract yourself or do something else. So that's what I went ahead and did. And I would say the most hungriest points of my time, and like I said, these all came in waves. I would say most of the time of the fast, I wasn't exactly hungry. If I'm gonna be honest with you, there's gonna be certain waves where I was like, damn, I'm hungry, dog. So like for example, right, right around the same time that I eat. So just to give you some insight, so I stopped eating on Saturday. This Saturday, what day is that? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Um, Saturday. This is February 8th, on a Thursday. Just Saturday night at 10:30 was the last meal that I ate, which was two steaks. And after I got done eating the two steaks, I was just it was only water. So I woke up around like 10 o'clock or something like that, and then obviously just drinking water. You know how it is. And then I started getting hungry, really really hungry around the time that I typically eat, which I do somewhat intermittent fasting unintentionally. If I'm gonna be honest with you, if I can eat breakfast, or if I prioritize breakfast, then I eat breakfast, but some of the time I don't. So I went ahead and started getting hungry around like 2:30, where I was like, damn, I'm hungry, to about like 5 or 6 o'clock, and then it kind of went away for a little bit, and then yeah, so I kind of want to break it down what kind of does to your body specifically, and then I'll go back into the my own specific experience. So um, hours eight to okay. So first of all, when you just get done eating your meal, it takes about roughly, I'm gonna say, like I said, and here's the thing: some of these things I'm like I said, I'm speaking from my experience and through my research. Maybe some of my research is wrong, and feel free to go ahead and correct me. But essentially, your last meal takes about roughly 4 hours to digest, and then that's when your body begins to fast, essentially. And around hours 8 to 12, your body your blood sugar starts to drop, obviously, because your body begins to do whatever it needs to do to go ahead and try to survive, right? And which is could be good for some people. Usually most people do an 8 to 12 hour fast unintentionally with some sleep, waking up, maybe waiting a little bit to eat breakfast. That's typically what people do anyways. So that's not really that crazy. So it's a fast, but it's really just you have no choice. You're sleeping, so it's not really a fast. And then when you get to anything above, I would say like 18 hours, then that's what I consider a fast for sure. So hours 12 to 18, you have partial to full ketosis, which is basically your fats to energy. That begins to yeah, that you begin to fully activate and dive into the fats that you have stored, and obviously you pull that for energy instead of using glucose. I'm pretty sure. Usually glucose or sugar. That's typically where we get some of the energy source from, and obviously we can, depending on what we eat, is going to dictate how much energy we have for that. But obviously, hours 12 to 8, then that's when you start to pull from the fat that you actually have, right? Um, this is where it becomes very very interesting. So if you know anything about fasting, there's this term called autophagy, which I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. This is mind blowing to me. So hours 12 to 48, autophagy begins. Essentially, it's basically the recycling of old and damaged cells. And yeah, your body just goes back in and tries to just clean up all the trash that's there, pretty much. And like I said, it begins to be recycled. Essentially, um, you repair tissues. Your body begins to detox. Yeah, your body begins to detox. That's essentially what it is with fasting. There's somewhat of a brain cleansing. You get some people, they say they have more mental clarity in that time. You get more energy for whatever reason. That was definitely an interesting experience for sure. You get more of a like alertness, which is also just a weird thing. Like you can be more fixated on things as well, and after a certain period of time, you get the urge to actually exercise, if I'm not mistaken. And that like I said, that's my experience, and that's also what I've heard from other people's experiences as well. Give me one second. All right, getting into it. All right, this is going to be one of the most interesting things, and the main reason why I truly did the fast. So hours 48 to 54. Um, your what the hell, man? HGH, your pituitary gland starts to secrete HGH. HGH is human growth hormone. Essentially, this is going to repair the body's tissues, and your inflammation begins to tank. And essentially, from this, it's almost like a small dose of steroids. People want this feeling, and like I said, I'll explain my own personal experience with that, which was very very interesting, weird, very interesting and weird for damn sure. And then another reason why I wanted to go ahead and do it, and I found this part out later, but essentially after 72 hours, after you go 3 days of fasting, which is technically about 76 from the time that you eat your last meal, your entire immune system resets, which is a very interesting thing. And more importantly, another reason why I wanted to do it, then this is part of the main reason, your stem cell generation begins as well. So if you have any lacking parts of your body, it's going to heal quicker, pretty much, right? So going back to my experience, when I woke up, that Sunday, right? So I said my last meal was on 10:30 on a Saturday, right? When I woke up, I was already not feeling that good. If I'm gonna be honest with you, um, for whatever reason, I had a little bit of a cold or a fever or whatever you want to call it. I didn't know. I don't know what the hell I had specifically, but let's just say I was under the weather, and I knew it. I knew it initially, and I thought to myself, I was like, man, like this might be maybe more difficult. Who knows? But I also had a theory in mind. So I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience. I'm sure most of you guys watching this have had this experience. But let's just say when you're like say you're feeling under the weather, maybe a fever, maybe it's a cold, whatever it is, right? Your body's not as hungry, right? And I was always told as a kid from my grandma, from my mom, oh, make sure you just drink water, make sure you get some food, even if you're not hungry, make sure you just eat something, right? I don't necessarily think that's. I think you just need to do or go along with what your body is telling you to go ahead and do. So if you're not hungry, you shouldn't eat, and if you're hungry, then you should eat. And I would say if you stick to that guidelines outside of a fast, you should be pretty good. But I had this theory that well, if you don't eat and you're feeling under the weather, right, and you're not hungry to eat, then maybe potentially you could heal up faster, which is exactly my experience. Something that would have taken me probably maybe 5 days to a week took me a lot shorter. It shortened the time of my sickness, I would say for sure, and that was definitely an interesting thing for sure. So um, give me one second. Give me one second. I want to kind of give you some more details of the things that I did during my fast. So I worked out 2 times, but I was active for about 3 days. This is something that I would not recommend most people to go ahead and do. It depends on your activity level. I'm a person who works out 4 to 5 times a week, at least. And like I said, I wanted to not only was my body already being physically challenged, I wanted to challenge myself once again. So around was it 48 hours? I played football and basketball, so I was just just running around and wasting the little energy that my body had, right? Which was an interesting experience because I was still able to perform, which is blew my mind kinda. And then I want to say that yeah, 72 hours in, over 72 hours in, I worked out as well, and then I worked out. Um, I think like I worked out twice. I know that for sure. I worked out twice. And I'll give you both of my experiences for those. So, um, obviously I was lighter. Obviously I lost weight, I'll say I lost about I think it was anywhere from like 5 to 8 pounds, 5 to 7 pounds, something like that, somewhere around there. That's about how much weight I lost in that experience. And when I did work out, I felt like obviously I felt lighter, so I felt a little bit stronger in certain lifts. And at the same time, it's quality to an extent, and then it begins you begin to have diminishing returns, obviously, because your body is not um, it doesn't have the same type of energy source that it used to have, so you begin to fatigue a lot quicker in certain things. So let's just say my workouts would usually last an hour and a half. I could probably give a good solid 45 minutes, and then everything else from there would be so even if I wanted to drag it on, which of course I did, it would be a lot less quality, and I'd probably be able to do less weight. I could still get through it mentally. Mentally, I could muster up the strength physically to go ahead and do it. So that's what I went ahead and did. But the quality of the workout began to let's just say deteriorate for sure. And that was my experience both times. Um, and yeah, which was an interesting experience. But so yeah, do I recommend working out during a fast? If you're active, give it a shot. If you're not that active, or let's just say you're active like once or twice a week, do it at your own risk. That's for damn sure. Um, but essentially, I'm gonna kind of give you I want to kind of give you a few things, right? So my overall experience, I'm gonna recommend it for sure. I think most people should try this. Like I said, it's a physical and a mental test that people should have more often. I will do another one this year, and yeah, I'll do another one this year for sure. I might even do two depending on it. So originally, let me give you this. So how the hell did it end up going for 92 hours, which is almost 4 days? Like I said, 96 hours is 4 days, or yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah. So how the hell did it last that long? So all right, like I said, my original plan was 3 day fast, 72 hours, right? Which would mean I would eat on Tuesday night, right? Tuesday night was supposed to be the night that I ate at 10:30. That would have been exactly 72 hours, and the last time that I ate was at that same time, 3 days prior, right? So the reason I didn't do that is because obviously if you eat in the night too close to when you go to sleep, your body's not able to digest food as good. So therefore, I said, okay, I'm already doing such a long time, and I'm already doing relatively good, I would say, compared to most people. I could probably just push it off to Wednesday morning. So I went ahead and pushed it off to Wednesday morning, and when I pushed it off to Wednesday morning, I wanted to eat steak for my first meal, and then there was just a long, complicated process. Basically, I didn't get my first meal until damn near, like I said, at what was it at? Yeah, it was like 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something like that. So I didn't get to eat. Um, I didn't get to eat until damn near almost 4 days. And yeah, it was just crazy. So um, yeah, like I said, if you have any questions or comments regarding anything that I've mentioned on today's episode regarding my fast, make sure to let me know. Whether you're watching this or watching this live, I would appreciate any engagement for sure. And also, if you've done a fast yourself or you're considering yourself, I want you to let me know in the comments for sure. So, I kind of want to get into this. I kind of want to get into this this interesting part about it. So, this was after the 72 hours. The night. Okay, yeah. After 72 hours, I went to sleep, right? And in this period of time of going to sleep, I decided to make it. I decided to make an adjustment to my sleep. Wait, what's this? Okay, yeah. I'll say. Oh no, no. Actually, let me go back. Let me go back. It was 48 hours. So 2 days. 2 days into the fast, I decided to go ahead and um, make an adjustment to my sleep. So I wasn't breathing that great. So I decided the best way to go ahead and sleep and get the best quality sleep is if you breathe through your nose. So if you didn't know that, I used some mouth tape. There's a lot of mouth tapes that they have that people sell. Basically, essentially, not allowing you to mouth breathe while you sleep, which is going to give you way better sleep. If you, like I said, do your own research. I've done my own personal research. I've done it myself, and um, yeah, like I said, just go ahead and try it yourself. If you never tried it for sleep, if you want better sleep and you want more oxygen within your sleep and you want deeper sleep, try mouth tape. Trust me, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It'll force you to breathe through your nose, and yes. Um. So yeah, I want to kind of get into the like I said, 48 hours in, I decided to go to sleep. And like I'd mentioned, right, the technically you need to get to about, what is it, 50 hours roughly. Like I said, your food takes anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours to digest. So around 50 hours of my fast, this is when I was sleeping, right? I slept a little bit that night, and then I woke up. So, and I told you guys this earlier, right? Hours 48 to 54 is where your pituitary gland starts to release human growth hormone, right? Which is, like I said, is meant to repair the body's tissues, and like I said, your inflammation will begin to tank because of that as well. So, this also gave me a gigantic boost of energy, which I did not anticipate at. I wouldn't say I didn't anticipate, but I thought that I would just be able to sleep through it. And yeah, that definitely wasn't the case at all. So I was sleeping. I went to bed at 11:30. So that is 49 hours into the fast. I went to sleep for an hour and a half, right? Which, like I said, technically speaking, that's when the 48 hours would hit. Um, and that's when the human growth hormone would be secreted from my pituitary gland. So that's exactly what happened. I woke up, and when I woke up, I couldn't stop thinking. My brain wouldn't shut off. It was almost as if, okay, so you know how when you wake up, typically you have that kind of like groggy state of when you're just trying to figure out life, and yeah, you're just trying to come to at this point. You're just trying to, like, realize that you're waking up. Your body is still kind of slower, right? I didn't have any of that. So I had went to sleep with the intent of obviously sleeping the entire night. Now, my body did not have that same intent. It said, "Okay, well, you need to wake up right now." And instantly it felt like I've been awake. It was a very, very weird experience. So I went to sleep for an hour and a half. I woke up and it was like I was already up. My body, my mind, everything was functioning as if I was already up. So for this period of time, I decided to go ahead and write some notes, because that's obviously what anyone would do in that same situation. Like I said, I understand that in a fasted state, and this is something that I've observed within my day to day life when I do intermittent fasting, your brain becomes more optimal when you are in a fasted state as opposed to when you've just eaten. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. When you eat, typically you don't feel as like alert or energized. Usually when people eat, they begin to like almost like want to get a little bit comfortable. Your food's obviously digesting, so your brain's not working as, let's just say as quickly or as smooth, in my opinion. So like I said, you observe this for yourself. I've done enough fasting, intermittent fasting myself, to understand that this is something that happens within my day to day life, and usually I usually do this during the day. So my brain will work best from about 12 to however long I want to go, and up until about like 3 or 4. So that 4 hour period from 12 to, like, let's just say 4 o'clock, it works really, really good. It's very, very sharp. My speech is improved. My communication's improved. My thinking is just way more smooth, less brain fog, more clarity of thought, more alertness, and things like that. So that's what I've observed personally within my, like, intermittent fasting during the day, right? So when I eat around that time, everything right there from just begins to, I'm not gonna say shut off, But like I said, you get a little bit more comfortable. Your body starts to slow down. You don't want to do as much because obviously you just ate, right? And when you eat, it's not best to work. Truly, it's not. As opposed to working fasted. If you've ever worked fasted, you're probably going to be more alert, more energized, more locked in, as opposed to eating and then you're just kind of like you're slowing down. At least, like I said, I'm speaking from my own experience, but yeah. Give me one second. I'll answer that question right now, Jaden. Now that you have done it, what would you have done differently? I'll answer that question. Give me one second. All right, because I did write this down in my notes. I just got to pull it up real quick. All right. All right. All right. Give me one second. I gotta find it. I gotta find it in my notes. I wish that I had did this a little bit more properly. I can read you guys my notes if you would like. If you would like me to read my notes specifically what I did and the timestamps that I did it in, let me know in the comments for sure. Also had my weights on here and everything. Oh, okay. I did write this down somewhere. Where is it at? All right, give me one second. Give me one second. Oh man, come on now. Where's it at? I had this. Okay, so let me see if I can remember this. Okay, so if I could do it differently, I would have begun or I would have started the fast a little bit earlier. So let's just say the last meal I had was at 10:30. If I had to do it over again, the last meal I would have had would have been around like 1 o'clock. If I'm going to be honest. And the main reason, and then I'll get into this. The main reason for that is specifically for this, right? So I told you guys after about the 48 to 54, right? That's when the human growth hormone is secreted through your pituitary gland, right? I want to be able to take full advantage of this and it not be 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm walking around, or I'm 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm fully awake, and I'm writing notes in my phone because realistically I don't want to be too loud, and I can't just get up and go to. I could have went up and gone to the gym, but it's like it's 2 in the morning. Like, come on now, what do you you see what I'm saying? So if I had planned it with this prior knowledge, I would have said, okay, the next time I'm going to do this, I'm going to, like I said, have my last meal at about 1 o'clock. So when this does hit 48 hours in, it'll be maybe around 6 o'clock. And then from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I'll be able to actually be fully optimized and take advantage of the human growth hormone surge essentially that I got. And that's for sure. One thing I want to mention as well, and I know I'm kind of everywhere, so hopefully you're keeping up. But one thing I want to mention as well, 72 hours into the fast. I had some purpose. Give me one second. Give me one second. Give me one second. What was it? I'm pretty sure it was 72 hours into the fast. Okay, 72 hours into the fast, I had obviously that same night. Like I said, I had the mouth tape on. I had a very, very good sleep. I felt like my body had healed up a lot more as opposed to the last day when it comes to my sickness. And I want to tell you guys about this dream that I had, and which I found to be very, very profound. And I could say, sometimes dreams are very, very weird. I'm gonna give you the actual thing. The actual dream that I wrote down. I'm gonna give you what it was about, and it was definitely, like I said, when I had this dream, I was like, dude, this shit is crazy, man. So essentially, I had a weird dream that provided me with almost like a movie-like symbolism, right? So essentially, you know how in movies where there's certain things that happen and you kind of have to break down, or at least this is the way that I view movies. You kind of break down certain aspects and kind of see if they have a bigger meaning than what it was within the movie. So that, like I said, symbolism, essentially something that means more than just what is presented, essentially, right? So I had a weird dream that provided me with almost like movie symbolism and predictive programming. If you know what predictive programming is, essentially it is let's just say the government wants to go ahead and expose you to some information that they know is going to come out within the next 5 years. So they'll do it right now And like I said, you look into this. There's plenty of examples of this with technology and things like that. They'll release a movie right now that will be about it, and in 5 years, that same technology that was used within the movie, or that same concept, or that same whatever that was exposed, will be in the present day. Essentially, getting you prepared to have that by mentally preparing you, seeing that it can be possible through a movie, right? So when it happens in real life, it's not that crazy, right? Look into it yourself. Um, Essentially, so if I had to give you the essential idea of the dream, it was basically me getting together with a bunch of people that I went to school with or that I knew, like maybe friends or family. Like I said, obviously it's a dream, so bear with me. And within this dream, we were all gathered around a big conference-like room, right? And there was a bunch of tables, and it was very odd setting because it was a conference room. But the one thing that was different was there was a piece of cake in front of us. There was a piece of cake in front of everybody, but it wasn't a birthday party. It was really weird. It was so weird. It was so weird. Trust me. So yeah, you're exactly right. You're with fasting also comes mental clarity and spiritual awareness, along with the health benefits, of course, for sure. And I had, like I said, you're just gonna get, yeah. I'll explain that a little bit later. But getting back into what I was saying, um, where was I at? Yeah, we were gathered around a conference like room. It was almost like a dinner table. There was probably roughly within my dream, if I remember correctly, about 50 to 60 of us, and like I said, we were all served the same food, which was a piece of cake, and we were all eating it just fine. I didn't eat as much of the cake because, quite frankly, in my state that I'm in right now, I try my best to not consume any sugar at all. Obviously, it kills your testosterone. If you didn't know that, sugar kills your testosterone, so therefore you probably should eat less sugar. So if you're still eating candy and all this, and you're a grown ass man, or drinking soda and you're a grown ass man, you probably shouldn't be doing that because it'll drop your testosterone for 50% or 30% for the next 2 or 3 hours. And like I said, I just don't recommend that. That's a whole another thing. If you have any more questions about that specifically, we'll go ahead and get into that. But essentially, a piece of cake was placed in front of me, and a piece of cake was placed in front of the people that I seen and that were sitting next to me, and that I have observed these people next to me. So the thing that stood out crazy was, obviously people are going to eat at their own pace. Some people are going to, take one bite and then just, chop it up with other people. Some people are just going to, just down the cake, not say anything to anybody, just down the cake. And like I said, everybody's kind of going at their own pace. One thing that I've observed with this in this dream that was very profound was there was people that were 50% done with their cake, maybe even done with their cake, right? Like I said, halfway done, or they were already done. And I noticed within their behaviors, it started to change. They were less energetic, and more importantly, okay, like I said, I'm speaking from my own mind, right? They seem to be getting progressively way more tired, right? And this was so weird this is so weird when I was seeing this happen. I was like, bro, what's going on? And in my head, it was almost as if they were like dying in my dream, right? So, like I said, obviously, with me not eating and me choosing to be more selective with the things that I choose to go ahead and eat, obviously with, like I said, consuming less sugar, this was like, what the hell's going on? And like I said, my dream was telling me essentially this was constructed. They put it in front of us. It was easily and conveniently accessible. It was a piece of cake. Most people love cake, right? Obviously, we all know that cake's not good for us, but therefore we still eat it, of course. But going back to the dream, right? I started seeing people. It was almost, and like I said, I noticed their energy begin to drop. They were all like leaning over, like damn near about to sleep or like die or something. And I remember suggesting to others that this didn't feel like a dream, and this felt like real life, right? So it was like I was conscious that it was a dream, and like I was conscious that I was aware that it was a dream, but I was like, this feels like real life, and this is real life. I was convinced within the dream that this is real life, and I remember saying that to myself, right? But like I said, obviously I couldn't wake up from that, and then from there, and like I said, I noticed what was happening within the people, and then essentially I yelled "run" to all the people to escape the room. Essentially, that was a setup for us to go ahead and be within, of course. And within this room, I was one of the first people to break out of this, and and like I said, this is just the way my mind works. Essentially, I was getting chased by authority. Like I said, this could you can use a lot of symbolism for any of these things if you kind of break down or kind of keeping up with what I'm trying to say. So essentially, um, I was getting chased, and there was people that were following me who also kind of understood what was going on and kind of has seen the same things happen. And um, I know it sounds like a bunch of nonsense, but like I said, hopefully you're keeping up with me, right? So, yeah, I got chased by people. They followed me. They could not catch me and the people that I was leading to go ahead and run away from this because obviously what they were providing for us was not good for us and was killing us. Oh, almost like it's like real life or something. It was actually kind of insane, actually. Um, yeah, like I said, obviously I'm in good shape, so I'm gonna get away from it, of course. Um, yeah. The essential message that I got from that was the food that we're eating and consuming is slowly killing us in the dream. But in the dream it was obviously a lot more rapid, and but more people, most people are willing to accept their fate with food and things like that. If they don't, like I said, most people, if you observe this, most people, even if they know what they're doing is wrong, even if they know what they're eating is wrong, even if they know that there's better healthy alternatives, they don't do anything about it. And that was a symbolism that I pulled from that dream that I see within the present day is people know what they're doing. Especially with fasting and things like that, which this fasting gave me an entirely different perspective of food, which I'll go over as well. But people are more willing to accept their fate, and there will be few outliers who defy this and try to wake up others with trying to help, with trying to inform them with the information that they would want to hear other people say, right? Which is, don't eat these certain foods. These certain foods are better for you, right? Obviously some people are very resistant to hearing these certain things, and that's on you. Like I said, my thing is this: I'm a person who, when they learn something, they want to go ahead and apply it. And unfortunately, there's not that many people like that, right? People, if you learn that something is wrong, if you learn something about you is wrong, and you don't correct it, but you know it's wrong, every single time you choose to act and you know it's wrong, you're contradicting yourself, right? I've explained this on many different podcasts, but getting back to the dream. Let me see if I remember. Yeah, so there was a few occasions where this happened many times, where they were trying to construct us all. It was by last name or something like that. Maybe this is some type of programming that I have that I'm speaking about. But essentially, it was it was the same scenario. It was the same scenario where I was grouped in with maybe a new group of people. Same thing started happening again. They were consuming their food. They were, like I said, through my perception, they were dying because of the food that they were eating, and I had to tell them, hey, the food that you're eating is actually really bad for you, and we need to get the hell out of here because they're trying to poison us essentially. And um, yeah, like I said, I did that a few times, and then obviously I escaped. Of course, the people that I saved also escaped as well. And then within the dream as well, which I found this is very interesting. Another thing that could be viewed as symbolism, right? It's going to be very hard to save some people because of their weight, which is essentially their limitation symbolically speaking. It's almost like if it was real life, and what I had to deal with was trying to elevate those who did not want to elevate themselves, and this is something that, like I said, I pulled from the dream, and essentially something that I also see within real life as well. Not only my life, but just life in general. There's people who do not want to be elevated. There's people who want to remain um, ignorant to their bad, self-defeating and self-contradicting behaviors. They just want to stay within this perpetual state of suffering, and then be mad at the result of it, even though they know what's right and they know what's wrong. And if they even wanted to do a little research, it's not that hard to know what's right and what's wrong. But yet they still continue to go ahead and do the same dumb shit. Like I said, I don't understand it, but quite frankly, this is something that I see on a day-to-day basis. Um, yeah, so the entire dream, and as in an overall experience, was one of the most profound dreams that I've had in such a long time. In my opinion, it was very cinematic the way it was set up within my mind, um, almost as if it was real life. Yeah, I would say, like I said, it was weird because, like I said, I was conscious. It was conscious, almost like a lucid dream, but at the same time, I was like, this is actually like real. This is like not a dream. I'm like, I tried to wake up, but it's like I couldn't. Like I said, it was a crazy dream. Um, and the way that I viewed it, like I said, looking back after reading that, this was kind of my perception of this. The cake was essentially a symbolism for what seems to be alluring and seems to be easy to go ahead and attain, right? Um, which is essentially the convenience of food that we have in today's society, right? Obviously, we have things like fast food, which we all know are terrible for us, but because it's easy and convenient and it's not that expensive, we go ahead and spend our money on it. And your health is getting compromised because you want something easy and convenient instead of something that's actually going to help you out. And I think that's the dumbest thing. And this is part of the reason why most of the United States is overweight, because they've got tricked. We've all been tricked. We've all been marketed food that we know is not good for us, but yet we continue to eat it. It's the dumbest thing I've ever experienced being a human being, is knowing right from wrong, knowing other people know right from wrong, and still continuing to act as if you do not know what is right and what is wrong. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I can't stress that enough. Essentially, most people will never question it, and they will just consume it because it's easy, convenient, and because other people are doing it, right? And then obviously, like I said, in real life, there will be few people who question it and decide to run, essentially to decide the narrative that society has constructed for you, or the circumstances that society has constructed for you, right? And and like I said, I began to acknowledge what is happening to not only me. This is speaking for the dream and speaking for real life. I came to the conclusion that I am acknowledging what is happening with around me in the dream and in real life, and all I can do is try to help people escape the trap that has been set for you. So that essentially, like I said, I'm gonna go back to my own fasting experience, but essentially, what I came away with that was, if I'm fasting within my dream, which is essentially defying what most people's perceptions of normal is, even though 100 years ago, 200 years ago, that's normal. Even in some countries, fasting is normal until the next hunt, right? This is a normal thing, but yet we've been programmed to believe that that's not a normal thing. It's like I said, I got people questioning me for doing fasting when I should be questioning you. Why are you eating so much? Oh, because you're hungry. Just because you're hungry. That's like I said, after doing the fast, that's so funny. That's just so funny to me. And like I said, like I said, do your own fast and you'll understand exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Because it's like, is that it is a good enough reason to eat, but it's not a good enough reason to eat, right? I just find that funny. Like, oh, you're hungry, so like, okay, you eat. Like, yeah, it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, like I said, if trust me, you would have the same perspective if you did fasting as well. You'd understand the utility that you do not need to eat that much. And while doing the fast, like I said, there was going to be plenty of struggles that I knew inevitably would come, which would be the obstacles in place of hunger, right? But what you must understand is, yes, I was hungry, but hunger doesn't matter, and we need to place less value on our hunger, because that's how humans were made. That's how we're made to function. There is a process that your body goes through that is for health and longevity when it comes to fasting. Your body is meant for this. Your body is not meant to be consuming all the time. You wonder why you don't feel that great. It's because you just had breakfast and you didn't earn your meal. Back then, we had to earn our meals and it felt rewarding, right? When I finally got to 8 after the 94, 92, whatever the hell hours, it felt like I earned that meal. Most people don't earn their meals. And I find that interesting. And like I said, you wonder why you're not motivated. You wonder why you're not disciplined. You wonder why you don't have any goals. It's because it's too easy for you. It's too easy for you. If you've already eaten a decent amount that day and you are still getting hungry, then there's no point of continuing to eat because you already ate. In the fasting sense, yes, you are right, Jaden. Did the hunger go away after a while? Yes, it did. Like I said, there's going to be plenty of time where the hunger spiked, and plenty of time where you could just say, "Well, okay, well, I am stronger than my physical body. My body knows what to do when it's time to not eat. It's time to go ahead and do something else." and your mental should be able to take over. Like I said, I'm speaking from my own experience. But yes, the hunger does go away. I'm not starving. Like I said, when my normal time around eating, which was around like 2 o'clock, that's when I got hungry. From about, like I said, 2 to 4, 2 to 5, and then the hunger went away, right? And then, like I said, it comes in waves. It doesn't. I'm not just hungry for fucking, what is it, like from hour 12, or no, from like hour like 24 to like hour 92. I'm not just hungry like the entire time, like all I can think about is food. No, definitely not. I would say most of the time was spent not being hungry, which I found to be very, very interesting. That's not what I anticipated. And when I think about a fast, when I thought about a fast before that, I'd be like, yeah, dude, you're gonna be hungry the whole time. No, you lose interest. You lose interest for hunger. Hunger means less. Hunger means less to me right now because I understood the level of self-discipline that I had in my fasted state, and the self-discipline that everybody should have, not just me for doing this experience, that everybody should have. So if you're watching this, I implore you to go ahead and do this. I would recommend you take some days off of work, just in case. But I would recommend you go ahead and try this out for yourself. If you want to burn some quick weight, that is one way to do it. Because I lost some weight and I didn't have that much weight to lose. If I'm gonna be honest with you, if I had a little bit more weight on me, I probably would have lost more weight. If you're overweight watching this, I would definitely recommend for you to go ahead and fast. At least do intermittent fasting. At least do a day fast. Understand that you feeling hungry does not matter. 200 years ago, shit, back in the caveman days, that shit did not matter. You still had to get shit done. You still had to focus on other things. You had other priorities and other tasks above being hungry. Did you have bone broth? I did not have bone broth. I'm not. I think that's a cop out in my opinion. In my personal opinion, like I said, there's certain people where I think you might need it. I did not need it. I only did water. I had water, electrolytes, and Himalayan salt in my water. That's all I had for 4 days, right? Um, like I said, try it out for yourself. I came out a new person, a new experience that I had that I could talk about, that I could recommend for people to go ahead and have. And it was something that, like I said, it was one of the most profound experiences that I've had in recent time. Along with that, I want to talk about this as well. I did the cold plunge while doing this as well. So I was fasted, right? I was sick, and I still did the cold plunge. I had the mental and physical toughness to go ahead and do something and put my body into even more adversity. So most people would do the fast, and that's adversity enough for them, right? I decided, let's do a cold plunge. Let's put the body under more stress because the body can handle it. And indeed, I proved myself right. The body could indeed handle it. I tested myself physically and mentally, and I came out on top. Like I had mentioned, I worked out or was active 3 times during this fasted period as well. Again, most people would say, Champ, you're crazy for doing that. You're going to pass out. You never know what's going to happen. I was just fine, right? I'm not going to say, okay, like I said, I could have been better, obviously. Obviously, I could have been better, but I was just fine. My body was resilient enough. And here's the thing. If you don't think your body is resilient enough, you do not know about your body enough. You just simply do not. You simply need to do more research. You simply need to have more experience with your body. And with this entire experience, I became a lot more in tune with my own body, right? With the ways in which I process certain things, right? Like I said, hunger. The thought of hunger is something that I process differently, more differently than I ever have up until this point of life. And I understand it's clearly now different than most people that I've ever met. Like I said, you want to eat because you're hungry. You don't need to eat. You don't need to eat, right? Most people get hungry very, very quickly because you're addicted to the food that you're eating, not because you actually need to eat. You're addicted to the food you're eating. The food that you're eating is trash. The food that you're eating has chemicals that make you hungry. Not that you're actually hungry, not that you actually need the food. With fasting or intermittent fasting, the most important thing is to learn to start with 16 hours and then work your way up. Make sure to drink water to help the purification process. Yes, like I said, drink a lot of water. Like I said, 16 hours for me, that's just I did that. I could do that every day. I could literally do it every day. I could switch it up if I wanted to with this experience and with me knowing my body now. I could eat every other day if I wanted to. if easily not even think about it, eat every other day and be just fine. Um, but yeah, like I said, look into autophagy. Look into, like I said, 48 to 54 hours. The human growth hormone grants, the human growth hormone gets secreted through your pituitary gland. Look into that. And like I said, 72 hours into the fast, your entire immune system resets. Stem cell generation begins. There's plenty of health benefits in doing this. If you've never done this before, I recommend it 1,000 times out of 1,000. And like I said, do not be afraid to put your body in a state that it's naturally supposed to be in, right? Who cares? Create some mental grit, man. That's all I have to say. Create some physical and mental grit. Challenge yourself. Here's the thing: not enough people challenge themselves. They're scared. They don't know what the outcome's gonna be. Oh, well, I just wanna make sure I'm safe. Here's the thing: your body should be able to take care of itself. That's what it comes down to, and it does most of the time, anyways. We can go. I'm sure, like I said, you've heard the statistic. You can go what? Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know the statistics. You can go like 40 days without eating or something like that. So it's like really like, come on now. What's a little 4 days? 4 days is nothing, dog. 4 days is nothing. 24 hours. You shouldn't be losing your mind at 24 hours. 24 hours should be. My thing is this: if you're only thinking about eating, you're addicted to your food, my guy. That's all I have to say. Try like I said, at the end of this experience, it wanted me. I wanted to eat more healthy for my body because like I said, I was more in tune with my body. Just because we have an abundant amount of something doesn't mean we need all of it. Indeed, 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 indeed. But yes, let me go back to my other note. I'll give you guys some more information about this. Give me 1 second. Um, and like I said, I did this with my immune system compromised as well. So it's like if I did this and my immune system wasn't compromised, or if you do this and your immune system wasn't compromised, you should be good. You should be better than what I did potentially, right? But like I said, put your body through a little bit of adversity. I don't recommend doing this working, right? You never know how your body's going to react. I surely didn't know how my body was going to react. I definitely didn't want to deal with certain people when I didn't have to. So, I took vacation time to go ahead and do this. And if I told people, hey, for my vacation, I was sick and I didn't eat for 4 days, they'd be like, holy shit, your fucking vacation was terrible. And I'd be like, no, it was fucking great, actually. It was great. That's my thing. And like I said, do it yourself, try it yourself. Like I said, fasting is something that has a tremendous amount of health benefits. Like I said, I broke it down earlier in the podcast. If you guys have any questions about that, your body needs a reset. Your immune system needs to be reset. 72 hours, like I said, your entire immune system gets reset. Try these things out. Like I said, your body is meant to be in a fasted state. It's not something that it's not foreign to the body. It's something that we naturally have a built-in process to go ahead and do this, to go ahead and prepare for this, because quite frankly, we've lived most of the human time in a state where we needed to go ahead and hunt and need to go ahead and fast. This is new. Here's the thing: eating three meals a day is a new thing to the human body, and it's like people think that this is always the way it's been. No, you wonder why you're not motivated because you just ate breakfast. Here's the thing: you didn't earn your meal. You didn't earn your meal. That's the way that I look at it now. My thing is this: is every time I eat, I want to earn that. Do something hard. Put your body through something, right? Put your mental through something, and then earn your food. You just eat because you're hungry. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like that. Like I said, that's my own perspective, man. You eat because you're hungry. That's it. Come on, man. Come on, buddy. That's all I have to say for that. But like I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, specific, like I said, go ahead and ask it in the comments. I'll go. I'm gonna be going live for only a few more minutes here, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I'm gonna look at my notes and pull all the things that I find of interest. And like I said, I hope if you have any interest or if you have any questions, let me know for sure. For sure. All right, come on, man. All right, give me 1 second. Um, yeah, like I said, it made me want to apply more of the information that I've learned. Right, I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, you learn a lot of information, but you apply almost nothing. That's realistic. That's realistic, and I can speak even for myself. I've learned a whole lot on the internet, but if you take what I've applied a lot more than most people. I'm being honest with you. But if you look at the things that you learn, or like the fun facts that you learn, or oh yeah, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do this, and then you look at what you've actually applied, most people have applied little to nothing. So it's like, what's the point of even being interested or even learning about something if you're not going to go ahead and apply it? That's my thing. That's just me personally. What are you doing? Um, this is what I wrote down, man. I will come out of this a more present and disciplined person who laughs in the face of adversity when it comes that comes my way because I've got more of who I thought I was now in that present moment, right? So like I said, after this, I proved I proved to myself who I was, or who I always knew I could be if I decided to go ahead and do this for sure. So like I said, if I had to do something differently, I might have done bone broth depending on like I said, how I was feeling. Like I said, you want to gauge your own body. I would have probably done the same thing with the same water formula that I had. I probably would have taken maybe magnesium. That would have probably suited a little bit better for me personally. Um, yeah, like I said, this experience was an eye-opening experience because I decided to defy most people's view of the common mindset. I've been able to do things that most people couldn't imagine doing, whether it's the cold plunge or fasting or both. Like I said, it's only good results that I've seen. Like I said, try these things out. Like I said, if you have me on social media, you know I've been doing the cold plunge as of recently. It is a mental and physical challenge, but nonetheless, all these things, your body needs a stimulus. Your body needs a hard thing to go through in order to get some enjoyment out of life. This is what living is to me, man. That's what living is to me. Living is to me is struggling. Is struggling physically, is putting yourself through something and earning your meals. That's what life is to me out of this experience, right? So like I said, maybe you earning your meal could look like you putting in a lot of work before you eat. Or maybe your meal maybe you earning your meal could be like working out or doing something like that. Like I said, going through something, making it seem like, "Oh yeah, I deserve this meal." Almost as if you killed an animal and you decided to eat it. You had to hunt the animal. You had to like I said, you had to hunt the animal. You had to kill the animal, right? And now you get to eat it because that is something that you've earned. You haven't. Let's just say you haven't eaten in the last 2 days, right? You killed the animal. You get to eat it, right? That is your reward. There's none of that in today's society. Like I said, what I will say is this: it's an humbling experience nonetheless. Doing a fast for that long is a humbling experience, but nonetheless, I believe most people need to be humbled to an extent, and you'll start to appreciate life a little bit more. Hopefully, you'll start to see that um, people have it too easy. If I'm going to be honest with you, people have it too easy. You're just gonna eat for no reason. Like I said, you're not gonna earn your eat. You're not gonna earn the food that you eat. What are you doing, man? Like I said, I lost about 5 to 8 pounds roughly, and for sure, the energy level was good. Like I said, it's gonna range because obviously your body's trying to adjust, so it's going to have sometimes where it's energy levels up, and sometimes the energy level is going to be down. One thing I'll say though is I anticipated that I would have slept a lot more, and I slept actually way less than I thought I would. It was actually probably less than I typically do, if I'm gonna be honest with you, which I found to be very very interesting as well. Wrapping it up, let me see if I got any more things that I want to go ahead and mention. Uh, all right, give me 1 second. Oh yeah, right here. Yeah, it was a very present experience than I anticipated. A lot of the reflection, and I'll make a slight alterations that I see fit around next time. Like I said, take magnesium or bone broth, maybe bone broth depending on how I'm feeling. Like I said, a thought that I had was if I have this much energy sick, imagine what a healthy fast would look like, right? I had tons of energy and I was sick. So if I could just compare the way I was fasted and sick versus the way I typically is like when I'm eating and sick, night and day difference of energy levels, night and day difference for damn sure. Um, yeah, like I said, another one was like another one was I would start my fast earlier, or I would essentially my last meal would be at an earlier time than doing it at 10:30, so therefore I could actually eat on time, and actually also, like I said, after 48 hours, actually take full advantage of the human growth hormone surge that obviously is secreted through your pituitary gland. Like I said, also as well, when I had that happen, it happened at, like I said, 1 in the morning. I went on a walk. I had a bunch of ideas, and I wrote down a bunch of ideas that were good that I'm gonna apply with this podcast. And then eventually I'm gonna go. Eventually I went on a walk as well to burn some energy off, to hopefully actually rest, because it was late. I wanted to get some rest, but my body was like, nope, it's time to get up, man. It's time to get up, man. So yeah, ultimately, like I said, if I had to wrap it up, it was a great experience. I recommend everybody to go ahead and do it. There's not a single person that I would say don't go ahead and do that. Um, of course, people before they do it, oh, make sure you get with your doctor before you go ahead and do something like this. If your doctor is not always going to suggest what's good for you. They're going to suggest what they've learned, but what they've learned isn't exactly always about the evolution of the human body and the things in which it can do. It's going to most doctors recommend the safest thing. I'm not going to say this is the safest thing. I'm saying this is probably personally one of the most beneficial and healthy experiences that I've ever had, physically and mentally. And that's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. So, like I said, to wrap it up, I had energy levels that went, and then it kind of dipped a little bit, but essentially it remained high for most of it, right? I thought I wasn't as tired as I thought I was. Like I said, same thing. There's gonna be peaks of hunger, and then it's gonna go down for a while. And like I'd mentioned, most of the time I was not hungry, which is crazy. Like I said, I shocked my own self, and yeah, like I said, look into autophagy. Look into, like I said, the 48-hour to 54-hour human growth hormone surge. Look into the 72-hour stem cell regeneration, and also look into the 72-hour immune system getting reset. That is what I have to say for today's episode. That is my experience with my 4-day fast. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, after watching this, make sure you go to leave in the comments. But yeah, that is my experience. This was episode 179 of the Life of a Champ podcast, talking about my 4-day fast. And other than that, I'll leave you guys off with the podcast motto. Fellas, out here, we don't just work around here, man. We outwork. So make sure y'all working these motherfuckers, because you know that I was during that fast. That's for damn sure. Y'all have a good night. Tap in with the next podcast on Thursday. More streams on the way. I just got to figure out a few more things. But I did get a new monitor, so like I said, reactions and things like that will be coming up here soon. Y'all have a good night, and earn your meals, fellas. Earn your meals. That's all I have to say, man. Y'all have a good night.